Hello again. Okay, so here's another story, but it's not about narcissism. And since my channel name is Bullying Affects Lives, I figured I could talk about other stories just because and maybe get your opinions on them. So this one's more about my in-laws, and I mentioned before, they're not narcissists, but they really don't care about in-laws. So I don't rate pretty much, which, as I mentioned before, I kind of got the crap end of the deal because my family are the way they are, and then his family is where I don't rate. So awesome. So here's a story recently, literally like this past week. His youngest sister, she always like praises family's important, right? Always. And yet she can never remember our birthdays, my kids' birthdays, where we live, my husband's schedule when he worked at a restaurant for 34 years, and it was the same schedule all those years. And I don't know, it's a little annoying because I feel like if someone's gonna sit there and act like family's so important, then maybe you ought to talk the talk and walk the walk. I don't sit there and scream that. So if I forgot your birthday, well, I never said family was that important. Like, so, not that I'm not saying that, but I'm just not praising that all the time. And anyway, so the recent thing was we moved out of state. They still live in the other state. And where I lived before in that county is just full of arrogant, narcissist people. And I feel like if you live there, you either conform to that mentality or you get the hell out. I feel like she has conformed to that mentality. Anyway, so she remembers our birthdays when we are actually having a family gathering, and it's specific to, it's all of, you know, all the birthdays in August, all the birthdays in October, and then it'll be remembered. But as we moved out here, she didn't remember my kids' birthdays at all, and I'm thinking, that's fine, whatever, you do you. If you want to forget us, fine. What I don't like is that this year, my husband's dad's birthday is the same month as my youngest, and so she was coordinating a birthday for the dad, and she wanted to know if my husband can come out and go to the party, and he's like, well, it's the same weekend of my kid's birthday. So first off, she didn't even remember that it was my kid's birthday. So then all of a sudden, magically, she texts my youngest and goes, oh, because she works at this expensive swimwear company that only models can afford these swimsuits, okay? Anyway, she can get them at a very low cost, and she can send them through the company, so it's not like she's spending this kind of money. Anyway, she texts my youngest and it's like, oh, go to the website of my company or my work and pick out any bathing suit you want, and I'll give it to you for your birthday. So my daughter, I'm seeing these texts because I'm part of the group text that she includes me in. And mind you, she normally ignores me if I respond to them. So I just kind of sat back and was reading these. And my daughter was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I'm thinking, are you seriously falling for this? I mean, that's great that she's going to buy you a bathing suit, but first off, she forgot your birthday. And second off, she's not paying for this. So don't think she's paying hundreds of dollars for you. Like, it's just in my head going, man, this girl's deceiving. Like, the people let me give you a quick example. There's a lady I work with, and she had gotten a free gift for one of the places that she goes to, and you get like rewards. And it was a bottle of wine and 2 tumblers. And she gave it to me, and she goes, here you go. But she didn't say, here you go, I bought and give me the impression that she went and bought them for me, and she was giving them to me for no reason. She actually said, I got them as a rewards, but I don't drink wine. I know you like wine, so here you go. Like, that's just something I would do too. Like, just don't be dishonest. I don't know, I feel like it's dishonest when you lead people to believe that you're taking complete credit for something when it wasn't anything. Like, you didn't remember her birthday, and you're not paying for this bathing suit, so please, like, seriously? So anyway, the next day, the text stopped, and then all of a sudden, here they come up again, and she's like, so what's your address? And I'm thinking, okay, I don't think we gave her address the first time, so I'll give her credit for that one. But when we lived in the other state for all those years, every time we'd ever have a gathering at our house, she would always ask, "What's your address?" Are you serious? You don't have our address? You don't write it down? Are you seriously? Really? Okay. So anyway, she's asking for her address. And then she's asking, oh, did you pick out your bathing suit? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I'm just kind of getting annoyed because my other kid had a birthday a month and a half ago. And she didn't remember them at all. So I'm thinking, okay, if you're going to forget them, forget both of them. If you're going to remember them, remember both of them. If you're going to scream family's important, then treat it like family's important. So I finally stuck up to the situation because I'm so tired of this always happening. And I said, hey, if you're going to remember, go out of your way for one kid, go out of your way for the other. And she ignored it. And surprisingly, my husband, because I was at work still and I was on a break when I texted, so I'm like, not at home. And all of a sudden I saw a text come from my husband. I was like, whoa. And he goes, hey, can you please respond to this? I'm like, whoa. He actually stood up and said something, because normally I notice it's a very woman-run family and the men just kind of cowered down to these women. So that surprised the heck out of me. And all of a sudden, luckily, I'm in a meeting and I'll circle back with you. I'm like, what the heck, are we your employees? You're going to circle back with us? Who talks like that? I'm like, whatever. So I didn't say anything. I was just thinking that and laughing about it. Anyway, all of a sudden she responded back, because my husband had to tell her to. Otherwise she would have ignored me. And it's like, so she writes back, oh, of course, I don't want to exclude your other kid. I was just offering... I actually wrote it down so I don't non-quote this. I was just offering a gift because it was her birthday. And at first I didn't read it. I read it real quick, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. Okay, so they're gonna remember the other kid. Great. And then I reread it. I'm like, wait, are you thinking I'm asking you to buy my other kid a gift because you're buying the other one a gift, just for no reason? I'm like, girlfriend, you forgot their birthday. If you're going to remember one kid's birthday, remember the other kid's birthday. Or forget both. Don't just choose one or the other. You're going to make them feel bad. And I know what it's like to feel left out. So don't do that. You don't do that. Oh my God. So I wrote back and say, to clear things up, the reason why I asked you not to leave the other one now is because their birthday happened a month and a half ago. And then she wrote back. She literally wrote back 3 hours later, which I was very surprised. And she just said, oh yeah, no worries on my end. And I just let that go. I'm like, okay, I don't think she gets it. Wow. Yeah. So the thing that bothers me about family, quote unquote, is that I don't want to have these people in my life. They're toxic, and I don't like deceiving people like that. Yet I have to put up with them because they're family. Oh, I don't know if anybody has dealt with that before, but I'm like, would I actually hang out with you if I wasn't related to you? That'd be a hell to the no. So I'm really glad we moved, because I don't ever have to go back to that state to any family gathering. I will always stay back and be home. No. And I seriously doubt she'll ever come out here and visit us, because she was actually not that far in one of another city, about an hour away from us, with her husband visiting his mom, and they never bothered to even come by. So yeah, so there you guys go. And I'm gonna have a couple more in-law stories, so stay tuned.